and Keon Ellis. The Kings will, in return, get Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Kennard, Asa Newell, and my guy, Vit Krejci. Zach LaVine, thank you for your time. Keon Ellis, thank you for your time. The Hawks are getting another shooter to pair up with, and I know they still have Trae Young, so those are some big contracts, don't get me wrong, but both those contracts, I think, are on the same time frame, and they can figure out what's going on with Trae Young. They can give it a go with Jalen Johnson, one more year at Trae Young. You get Zach LaVine in there to shoot the basketball. Obviously, you got Nickeil Alexander-Walker that we just talked about. They got Risache. So they can really make a run at this thing in an Eastern Conference that's missing, obviously, two top players with Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton. Now, the Kings, you're getting an expiring contract. You might need to give the Hawks a couple second-round picks, honestly, because the value you're getting – Kristaps Porzingis, who is an expiring contract, all right, at $30 million a year.
And you probably don't resign.
You probably don't resign. Luke, you could. I mean, him and Sabonis, we can see it.
I'd say Porzingis probably does not want to.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
unless you're willing to cash him out at 4 years, 120 or something.
You could. Luke Kennard, expiring contract, $11 million. We can see what's going on with Luke Kennard. He's a shooter. Right? The Kings do need more three-point shooting.
I mean, I know he used to be a shooter. I haven't checked in on him recently.
You got Vit Krejci, who is a 25-year-old 6'8" point guard who has shown a lot of flashes in Atlanta. It's just, what are you trying to accomplish in Atlanta?
He showed a few.
Yeah, and last but not least, I don't like where you're Kyle, come on now.
I mean, what, Atlanta's just going to throw him away in a deal?
Well, I'm just saying, Atlanta, they got guards and they still have Trae Young, okay? And the most important piece here is my guy, Asa Newell. So this was initially brought to my thought process when we were looking at the Bleacher Report kind of breakdown. And I got real freaky last night, and they brought Asa Newell up. Now, Asa is from the 2025 draft, okay? So he just got drafted, but there might be a timing issue with I know all these teams have all these wings, and it's fine, but he goes 6'9", 6'10", a power forward. He's a lefty out of Georgia, so it is pretty cool. He was born in Atlanta, and he's on the Hawks, but right now he can't get on the floor, and the Hawks might make a decision and say, hey, we just don't really have a spot for you right now. He went 23rd, so it's not like they're giving up a top 10 pick, not even a top 10, top 15 pick. So he went 23rd in the 2025 draft. He has shown some things, but again, he's averaging 5 points, 1.7 rebounds. He's 20 years old. 20 years old, people. And you know what? He just turned 20 in October, okay? He's only playing 9.3 minutes per game, and he's taking 1.5 threes a game. He's at 51%. He's just not really getting a lot of opportunity. The Hawks might say our timeline is a little bit past Trae Young, but it's a little bit ahead of Asa Newell as we try to turn this thing around and get going here. So that's my Freaky Friday trade. The Kings get a young player to take a chance on who's a top 20s pick, right? Not a top 10 pick that the Hawks are giving up on. They get a 25-year-old point guard who has shown some things look, I would rather see Vit Krejci back up Dennis Schroeder if they move on from Russell Westbrook. I'd rather see that than, this is my Trey Jones type of deal too. So I've always wanted a younger point guard. You get him in there, you get two expiring contracts, you move off of Zach LaVine, and now that I say it out loud, Kyle, you're giving up Keon, who might have a first-round value, as well as Zach LaVine, who isn't a great contract, but only 2 years, so the Hawks can kind of work things out there. And then if the Hawks need a couple second-rounders, I would be willing to do that. I just think that the Kings have to get younger. You're getting expiring contracts. You're getting two talents, 25 and under, one who was a teenager in October. Who says no?
Yeah, I mean, the Kings, you would essentially be using Keon to flip it into a first-round pick from last year. I mean, Asa Newell was the 23rd pick in last year's draft. So this is what Chris Watkins was talking about yesterday with maximizing value and Keon's value being, hey, we can't get a first-round pick, but we could flip him for the 23rd pick in last year's draft as some team tries to make an upgrade or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm looking here because Charlie on the chat is saying, who is Zach LaVine playing over? I was
literally about to ask that same question.
Mm-hmm.
So in this world, the Hawks would then have Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Keon Ellis, and Reece Sachet.
So right now, they got Reece Sachet, they got Jalen Johnson, and Trae Young is just now came back. They got Onyeka Okongwu, and they got Dyson Daniels and Trae Young. Those are their starters.
Because I think the answer, if you're going to do this for the Hawks, because I do think the Hawks get better in some way. I mean, their defense with Trae Young and Zach LaVine. Dyson Daniels is going to be making up a lot for that defense.
I guess you'd have to move
Dyson
to the 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the answer is Reece Sachet goes to the bench.
Yes.
I think that's the answer that you're looking for, which...
I mean, right now, like last night, he played 20 minutes. So Reece Sachet is not logging a ton of minutes anyway. Vit Krejci played 23. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who does come off the bench again, NBA politics, he played 34 minutes even though he came off the bench.
Yeah, that's why this trade is more freaky than a normal deal.
I got real freaky last night.
Because in most of these, because I've seen Zach LaVine connected to the Hawks, but I've seen it in situations where they are getting rid of Trae Young.
Right. And that is another option, but we're kind of off the Trae Young thing. Everyone told me, Allen, get off the Trae Young thing, so I'm starting to get off the Trae Young thing.
Trae Young and Sabonis would just be, what's the meme from the Will Ferrell movie where him and who's guy with Matthew McConaughey in those commercials? What is it? Woody Harrelson. Where where Woody Harrelson and Will Ferrell are just passing the ball back and forth to each other. That's just the Trae Young Sabonis offense. It's just pass, and they just pass back and forth until the shot clock runs out.
No, I hear you. It's not perfect, but yeah, I think, and you can throw, no disrespect whatsoever, you could throw Devin Carter into this trade for the Hawks because they're very defense-focused right now. The Hawks get Keon Ellis. I mean, you're locking down, man. On the other side, you're getting Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Keon Ellis to kind of lock down the defense.
And Dyson.
And Dyson. I mean, that's a clamp squad right there.
But then you also have Trae Young and Zach LaVine.
Life is about balance. It gives the Hawks a lot of optionality. And Trae Young is making $45.9 million each year over the next 2 years, but it is only 2 years. So you say, hey, we're giving up some guys that we just don't know where we're going to find a time for. Asa Newell and Vit has been nice, but, it kind of is what it is. I guess if Keon was more of a playmaker, you could say, hey, at least one, or Zach LaVine, you could say one of those guys can kind of be a pseudo point guard, but neither of them, that's really their bag. The only reason I think the Hawks say no to this is if they are, just wanting to keep Reece Sachet on schedule, right? Keep Reece Sachet on schedule and make sure that he's getting that playing time because it could affect the playing time.
Or potentially you're not tripping about Reece Sachet because he's not going to be anything more than your third best player.
Yeah. It's what their value is. I mean, you look at the Western Conference right now, and obviously where the Kings are, and you look at the Eastern Conference right now. The Hawks.
Jesus, Nickeil Alexander-Walker's averaging 20 points a game for the Hawks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Right now, the Hawks are the 9th seed. Okay, so again, they're doing the same thing that they've been doing, just kind of chilling in the play-in. They're about to get, I guess they're not going to do this deal now because they got to figure out, hey, what are we with Trae Young? But I do think it's a situation where if they were to go on a run, all right, let's make another move here, move off some pieces, move some things around, and go from there. Maybe Asa Newell, if they like him more than I'm assuming they like him, maybe that's the issue, and they just say, we're just not going to give up a 20-year-old 6'10" 3-point shooter that can stretch the floor and is going to continue to grow because he turned 20 in October. Maybe they like him more than I think, but they got to make some decisions here just in general.
Yeah, I'm looking at this here. They're treating Risa Shea right now like he's like early Timberwolves Jaden McDaniels. Like he's no bigger than the fourth option at any point on this Hawks team, which in fairness, they don't have Trae Young, so maybe Trae Young coming back opens the flow a bit, but yeah, I mean they won the lottery in the year you didn't want to win the lottery. That seems to kind of be their problem.
I mean, really their holdup is Dyson Daniels just isn't a point guard, right? He's a heck of a guard, but I do think that we'll do this thing in a couple months here where we try to figure out what Dyson Daniels is going, what the Hawks are going to be, because if he continues right now, Kyle, 28 games, he's at 11.7 points per game. Kyle, guess what Dyson Daniels is shooting from three. Please guess right now, Kyle.
I'm going to say like 35%.
You're not even halfway.
You're kidding.
15%.
15?
Yeah, he takes 1.6 threes a game. He's at 15%. I mean, I get it. Amen Thompson is, they're kind of similar guys, but Amen Thompson, yeah, I mean, Dyson does go 6'7". Amen is around the same size, but offensively, Amen Thompson, even if he's not a straight up shooter,
jeez.
Please guess Amen Thompson's 3-point percentage.
Well, it can't be worse than Dyson Daniels, so I'm going to go with like 26%.
18%.
What?
Are you guys, how old are you? How does this happen?
Did you grow up just not liking basketball?
How does that happen?
How did you guys just didn't like shooting?
What were you doing when everyone else was doing shooting drills?
I do think for the Thompson twin, that could be a case of the other brother really liked shooting, and so the other Thompson twin was always guarding him on defense. With Dyson Daniels, I don't know, man. Maybe it's different in Australia, but
yeah,
there's just nothing. Maybe, I don't know. Dyson Daniels being 15% is crazy.
Well, it's just interesting how people come into the league because he is at 5.7 assists, Dyson Daniels. So he is at 5.7 assists. That's not bad. He just isn't really viewed as a point guard. And the reality is, point guard or shooting guard, if you can't shoot at 6'7", you might have to go to the position of a three.
Here, where I'm also figuring this out is like, again, and this maybe is an indictment of the modern NBA and how offenses are run now, but I feel like Jalen Johnson is going to be a primary ball handler at some point with this team.
No, I would agree with you. This is kind of a short spurt where you don't owe Trae Young or Zach LaVine anything. I guess the biggest thing is why would we give up our young talent? But my point is it's a wide open Eastern Conference. You got the Raptors as the 3 seed. You just got Trae Young back. Do you want to waste this season? And then all of a sudden you get Jason Tatum back and Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know that adding Zach LaVine makes them better than the Knicks, but I think it gives them a better chance. I'm just saying, using the Knicks as an Eastern Conference example, but it gives them a better chance.
Yeah, like if Nickeil Alexander-Walker is your wing shooter, like the spray and shoot guy on this team, which, by the way, he's taking 15 shots per game right now. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is. Like, Zach LaVine is inherently a better player than Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker makes a third of what Zach LaVine makes.
But I'm saying you could have both.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're the Hawks, is the juice worth the squeeze of we're going to give up all of our young talent and add Keon Ellis, no doubt. But
not giving up all their young talent.
I mean, Krejci.
Now you're Asa. Wait, hold on. Now you're in on Krejci.
I'm not saying Krejci is bad. I'm saying Krejci is probably a backup point guard.
But now that's young talent, Kyle.
How old is he? He's 25, you said?
Yeah.
On the Kings, that's young talent.
Well, that's a rookie.
On the Kings, literally. Nick Clifford is going to be 25 in about 12 months. My point though is like, yeah, if you're the Hawks, it just limits your ability to pivot. I think they gotta figure out this Trae Young thing, just like the Grizzlies got to figure out this Ja Morant thing, and the Cavs got to figure out this Darius Garland thing. They got to figure out if they're better with Trae Young or Jalen Johnson being the point. And honestly, I think Jalen Johnson's not a bad Trae Young replacement in the modern NBA. Like, obviously, I don't think Jalen Johnson is going to be an MVP candidate like Trae Young was 4 years ago, but it's not a bad replacement for the contract you have.
Kyle, I just got to tell you this, and we can run the tankathon, because I've seen this guy pop up before, but I almost got, man. You got to be careful in these streets, because this has nearly 1 million views, a fake account.
The Darren Peterson
Yeah,
thing.
man. Almost got, but I didn't. So basically, everybody knows how X is these days, and I don't know what Elon is doing with some accounts come up as parody, some don't. But this guy who looks like a real human, he says credential men's college basketball reporter, but it is a parody. He just doesn't say parody anywhere. He said Darren Peterson is shutting it down and will not appear in another game for the Jayhawks. And it went, like I said, 1 million views, but it's fake. It's completely fake. And I almost got, but I've seen this dude before.
We want to run the tankathon now real quick, because let me tell you, as every day passes, I am more and more in the camp of I need Darren Peterson.
Why? He hasn't even played.
Yeah, but I need a point guard, Allen. That's what I'm saying. I need a point guard.
Don't worry, they'll start calling him a combo guard in a couple months.
No, I look. Boozer, they're saying Boozer can't guard.
He can't score.
He can't score against good defenders.
Debanza can't shoot.
Yeah, it sounds like Boozer would be perfect on the Thunder, which we can say because the Thunder literally will have a top 3 pick if the lottery went down today. But
yeah,
it seems to me like it's got to be Darren Peterson. That of the 3, I'm leaning towards. I'm sure Debanza is going to be excellent. I'm sure Boozer's going to be excellent, but I need me some Darren Peterson.
You're taking the 6'4" guy, huh?
I'm 6'6", and he can potentially score at all 3 levels, which is essentially all you need from a primary ball handler now. If they can pass, great, but as long as you can score from all 3 levels, you can be a point guard in the NBA.
I can't believe it just scares me. It all scares me. But Kyle, I've just been having terrible luck here. The Kings dropped to the 6.
Yep, there you go.
So that's. And then I ran it again. They jumped up to 2.
Okay.
But,
we can do that. By the way, I'm going to be gone next week, so we can run as many as you want.
There you go. All right. I needed that. I needed something to pick up there. But yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to some of these teams that might be interested, Kyle, the way you could rework it, when I was coming up with this Freaky Friday trade last night, I got real freaky last night. I was trying to figure out if there is a world where the Hawks would maybe, and we've talked about this a while ago, after DeMar DeRozan kind of did his thing, is there a world where DeMar is more their speed and they can say, hey, this is just a kind of a quick hitter. DeMar will get to the playoffs. He will get to play, at least in the play-in, but we'll have a shot at the playoffs. If it was DeMar, and I'm just doing Keon just for the value, and you do get Asa Newell, and then besides that, you got to make the money work. So, it's just tough. It's just it's not as clean. I mean, you could do Luke Kennard, but you need another $10 million. Another $10 million. That's a problem.
Here's kind of my problem with the Kings being the direct trade, is that if I'm asking myself, what do the Hawks need? If I assume Jalen is going to be kind of their future primary ball handler, you've got Dyson Daniels, you've got Reece Shea, you've got Alexander Walker. They kind of need a big. And I know Porzingis is kind of a stopgap option right now, but if I'm the Hawks, I'm trading for the same types of players the Kings are trying to trade for. I'm looking at Tari Easons.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Sabonis.
Sabonis is an interesting one. I mean, I don't know. Again, are you moving Trae Young is the question. All right,
You'd have to.
We've talked about the Trae Young Sabonis thing before, but
time to give the keys to Maxime Reynaud.
The Kings? I would not do that, but if you can get me something very nice, I will consider it. But anyways, I kind of look at them and I'm like, I understand why they are looking at the Anthony Davises. I understand why they're looking at potentially a Sabonis or a Giannis. I know Rich Paul was like, I think Giannis would be great on the Hawks. I was like, that's crazy that you're just allowed to say that on a podcast. But I just don't. I think the Hawks should be big man hunting more than they should be hunting for a Zach LaVine.
Oh, hold on now. But you started this. You could tell me I'm crazy.
This is the Sabonis?
Yes. You could tell me I'm crazy. That's fine. Domantas Sabonis and Keon Ellis for Trae Young and Asa Newell. Who says no?
So if you're the Kings, you're going to run Trae Young, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan, and Maxime.
Yeah, and honestly, it'd be more you're getting a big you're just getting a value big. It's probably not going to be Maxime the whole season. You go get a decent big, the Rockets got 12 of them. You go get a decent big somewhere else, but you're more so saying we're going to go the Trae Young direction. We're getting a young talent, and you can make a decision on Trae. Maybe you let him walk, right? And I know that would mean that you maybe lost Domantas for nothing, but you are getting off that contract, and you're not losing him for nothing because you're getting Asa Newell. I don't necessarily know. Value-wise, I don't know who says no. Fit-wise, both sides might say no.
Yeah.
But value-wise, I think this is a very fair value trade.
I think this, again, I wouldn't do it if I'm Sacramento because I would just keep Domantas Sabonis instead of going that route. Unless, I'll caveat that. Unless Trae Young was willing to sign a contract extension sight unseen in Sacramento.
I think he easily would.
Okay, but assuming he would, it's more palatable because then you have multiple years. Mm-hmm. Regardless, I think this is probably more of a summer trade than it is a right now trade because I got to know, if I'm the Hawks, I got to know what I'm working with in the big man market. And if I'm the Kings, I got to know what I'm getting with my lottery pick, how the DeRozan situation is going to result. Because I don't want to bring in Trae Young and Zach LaVine and have that be the backcourt for a year. Like, that's not helping anyone's chances of getting to be good in a timely fashion. So, yeah, I would say in the summer, I might be more willing to consider it once I know who I'm getting with my draft picks and how these other situations have resolved.
When we return, there are multiple teams interested in Keon, but which ones are on your do not trade to list, and which one is the worst? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Golf to go.